Hey warrior, picture this. You wake up tomorrow and suddenly you've got total command over every word leaving your mouth, every feeling bubbling up inside, every dollar you choose to spend, and every single thought drifting through your mind. Sounds like something from a fantasy, doesn't it? Yet more than 2,000 years back, there lived a man who was convinced this wasn't merely possible. He saw it as the single path to genuine freedom. That man was Epictetus, and he entered the world as property. Really let that soak in for a moment. His body wasn't his own, he couldn't go where he pleased, and his situation offered him zero say. Another human held complete ownership over him. Still, this individual unearthed a truth so potent that it lifted him from bodily enslavement to becoming one of history's most impactful guides to liberating the mind and heart. His teaching was simple: nobody can harm you without you letting them. Now, at first listen, that can land pretty heavy, especially if you're carrying real hurt. But here's the heart of his message. We don't always get to pick what life throws at us, true enough. Yet our response, that's entirely our domain. And tucked away inside that response sits our authentic strength. These days, physical chains aren't what bind most of us. Different traps snare us instead, words that shoot from the hip without thought, feelings that hijack our whole day, money spent on emptiness, and minds left to spiral endlessly. Regret follows our speech. Moods dictate our hours. We buy what we can't afford with funds we don't possess. And fear, doubt, and worry get free rein over our inner landscape. But suppose I told you the identical insight that unchained a Roman slave holds the key to your own liberation. What if those very territories where you feel most powerless, your speech, your emotional states, your finances, your thinking, could transform into your most formidable assets? The Stoics of old grasped something that's slipped away from us now. Dollars don't define real wealth, self-command does. Dominating others isn't where genuine power lives, mastering yourself is. And endless options don't constitute true freedom, consistently choosing wisely, day after day, does. Life hands you constant opportunities to build this skill. Somebody cuts you off while driving, there's your opening to govern both your tongue and your temper. That unnecessary purchase looks tempting, perfect moment to exercise financial discipline. Your thoughts start their familiar descent into fear and uncertainty, prime time to seize back control of your mental space. What's wonderful about Stoic thinking is its complete lack of demand for flawlessness. Even Marcus Aurelius, sitting atop the Roman world as its most powerful figure, wrestled with exactly these challenges. His private writings show him repeatedly reminding himself, external events don't fall under your jurisdiction, only your mind does. Absorb that truth, and you'll discover strength. This path doesn't ask you to go numb. It invites you to grow so deeply grounded in your authentic self that outside turmoil simply cannot unsettle you. Command over your speech means words flow from intention, never impulse. Command over your feelings means consciously selecting your emotional state rather than suffering it passively. Command over your finances transforms money from a stress source into a peaceful instrument. And command over your thinking makes you the author of your thoughts, never their captive. Over the coming minutes, you'll receive insights into these 4 foundations of personal authority. We're going to examine timeless wisdom that carries more urgent relevance today than perhaps ever before. You'll come away with practical tools ready for immediate application. One condition though, this only bears fruit if you truly commit. Every section builds naturally upon the one preceding it, so resist any urge to jump ahead. Stay present through each part, and I guarantee this holds life-changing potential. If seizing back control speaks to you, go ahead and hit that like button right now. Drop a comment sharing which of the 4 M's gives you the toughest time. And make sure you're subscribed, our path towards self-mastery has only just begun its ascent. Pass this along to somebody whose life could be touched by it, because authentic power always originates within you. And while you're at it, put this in the comments. I command my speech, my emotions, my finances, and my thinking. Let's begin with number 1, mastering your speech, the entry point to wisdom. An ancient proverb warns that while the tongue is tiny, the destruction it can unleash is massive. Here's something many miss, though. The potential harm your words can cause others isn't the whole picture. Each syllable you utter either constructs or dismantles the person you're in the process of becoming. Seneca, counted among Rome's foremost Stoic thinkers, dedicated years to studying speech's influence within the Roman Senate. He witnessed entire careers launched and demolished by solitary sentences. He saw thoughtless remarks shatter friendships while deliberate communication forged powerful alliances. Yet his deepest revelation came from turning that same observation inward. Every fresh start emerges from some prior ending, Seneca wrote. Nowhere does this principle ring more true than in our use of language. Each time you speak, you're concluding one version of yourself while initiating another. The essential question becomes, is the person emerging someone you can genuinely respect? Recall the last occasion anger propelled words from your mouth that you instantly wished back. That moment gave you direct experience of unchecked speech's force, your utterance escaped before wisdom could intercept it. Now envision reclaiming that power entirely. What if every word leaving your lips arrived by conscious selection rather than accidental release? The Stoics crafted an elegantly simple yet deeply effective technique, the intentional pause. Before speaking, particularly when emotions ran high, they'd stop and weigh their words against three criteria. Is it factual? Does it serve a purpose? Does it come from kindness? A negative answer to any of these questions meant silence was the better choice. Still, mastering speech extends beyond merely suppressing harmful words. It equally involves deliberately employing positive ones. Offering someone a sincere compliment does more than brighten their moment, it trains your own perception to recognize goodness surrounding you. Speaking encouragement to others simultaneously programs your mind to scan for possibilities rather than obstacles. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully in his private writings. Stand like the rocky headland where waves crash constantly. It remains unmoved, and around it the agitated waters grow calm. Your disciplined speech can offer that same anchoring presence for people around you. In our era of reflexive communication, thoughtfully chosen words become sources of steadiness and power. Here's a practice capable of immediately transforming your connections with others. For the coming 7 days, before you utter anything in emotionally charged circumstances, draw 3 deep breaths. Use the first to identify your own feelings. Use the second to consider what might be stirring in the other person. Use the third to determine what words would best serve everyone involved. What's remarkable about developing mastery over speech is the reinforcing cycle it creates. Speaking with deliberate intention alters how people respond to you. They listen with greater attention, extend deeper trust, and more frequently seek your perspective. This isn't about manipulation, it's the organic outcome of becoming someone whose words carry weight. Perhaps the most profound dimension of mouth mastery, though, lies in how it reshapes your relationship with yourself. Every verbal promise you keep builds self-trust brick by brick. Every kind word directed at yourself gradually reconstructs your self-perception. Every refusal to participate in gossip or complaint represents a conscious choice to direct mental energy toward what lies within your control. Never forget, your words don't merely convey your thoughts, they actively mold them. When you consistently voice words reflecting possibility, appreciation, and insight, your mind naturally begins operating in those patterns automatically. You eventually become what you habitually declare. The mouth stands as the gateway linking your internal world to everything outside it. Gain mastery over this passage, and you control energy's flow in both directions. Tomorrow we'll examine how this identical principle applies to your emotional terrain. Affirm this below and let it become your daily touchstone. My words carry power, not impulse. Moving on to number 2, mastering your mood, the climate system within. Imagine starting every day with somebody else determining the atmospheric conditions inside your mind. Stormy anger fills some mornings. Foggy sadness blankets others. And if fortune smiles, sunny happiness might occasionally appear. This accurately describes how most people navigate their emotional existence, completely subject to whatever external forces decree. Yet here's the realization that fundamentally shifted everything for me, the same discovery the Stoics made over 20 centuries ago: your emotions don't victimize you. You actively create them. Viktor Frankl, surviving the horrors of Nazi concentration camps as both prisoner and psychologist, unearthed a truth in those unimaginable circumstances that perfectly echoes ancient Stoic insight. Between any stimulus and your response exists a gap. Within that gap resides your capacity to consciously select your response. And embedded in that chosen response lie both your growth and your liberation. Consider that gap for a moment, right now as these words reach you. It exists continuously within you, positioned between every trigger and the emotional reaction that follows. A moment, sometimes merely a split second, offers you complete freedom of choice. The Stoics termed this the discipline of desire. It doesn't advocate wanting less. Rather, it means appreciating what you already possess, accepting circumstances beyond your influence, while persistently working to improve what lies within your reach. Achieve mastery here, and your emotional state becomes like a finely tuned instrument you can play, rather than an untamed storm that plays you. Here's a truth that might catch you off guard: your emotions aren't objective facts, they're interpretations. When someone doesn't immediately respond to your message, the situation itself carries no inherent meaning. Your mind generates the story: they're ignoring you, angry at you, indifferent toward you. But what if you consciously constructed an alternative narrative? Maybe they're swamped, their battery died, or they're arranging something meaningful for you. Marcus Aurelius incorporated this practice into his daily routine. His writings remind us, external events lie beyond your mental jurisdiction. Embrace this, and you'll uncover strength. Each morning he'd mentally prepare for the day's inevitable challenges, difficult individuals, unforeseen complications. Rather than dreading these, he reframed them as chances to exercise emotional mastery. Try this potent exercise immediately. Bring to mind something currently troubling you. Now examine it: what story am I constructing around this circumstance? Then ask yourself, what alternative interpretation could I apply here? Finally, determine which interpretation most effectively serves my highest welfare. The genuine magic dawns when you recognize yourself as the lifelong author of your emotional experience. You simply hadn't realized you were writing the narrative. Let's be clear, though, mood mastery isn't about forced positivity or pretending away difficulties. It's about selecting responses that energize rather than exhaust you. When anger surfaces, instead of suppressing it or letting it erupt destructively, you can channel it as fuel for constructive change. When sadness visits, rather than drowning in its depths, you can allow it to deepen your connection with shared human experience and compassion for others. The Stoics maintained a beautiful nightly practice they called evening reflection. Each evening they'd review their day, questioning themselves: what feelings crossed my path today? Which served my growth? Which gained control over me? How might I respond more skillfully tomorrow? Here's what unfolds when you begin practicing mood mastery. Fear of your own emotions evaporates because you know you possess the capacity to handle them. You cease avoiding difficult situations, trusting your ability to navigate them emotionally. You become the steady presence amid others' emotional turbulence, an invaluable quality in both relationships and professional life. Remember this always: every feeling you experience offers information, never instructions. Anger signals that something genuinely matters to you. Fear directs your attention towards something requiring awareness. Sadness acknowledges loss of something valuable. Yet none of these emotions earn the right to make decisions on your behalf. Your mood constitutes your internal climate system. Much like a skilled meteorologist, you can learn to anticipate, prepare for, and even influence the atmospheric conditions within your mind. Type this below if you're prepared to assume command of your emotional realm. My emotions answer to me, not the reverse. Number 3 now, mastering your money, the instrument of liberation. Few things in existence reveal your character as nakedly as your relationship with money. It transcends mere currency, it represents solidified energy, invested time, accumulated choices. How you manage it ultimately determines whether you experience life as someone free or someone enslaved by their own appetites. Seneca ranked among Rome's wealthiest citizens. Yet he wrote powerfully, "Poverty belongs not to those possessing little, but to those craving more." This wasn't abstract theorizing for him, he embodied it. Despite his substantial fortune, he regularly subjected himself to voluntary discomfort, sleeping on hard floors and eating plainly to reinforce that his contentment never depended on luxury. Here's an uncomfortable truth most prefer to avoid: spending you cannot control means a life you cannot control. Each purchase either advances you toward greater freedom or drags you deeper into servitude. there exists no middle ground. Still, money mastery doesn't demand stinginess or joyless deprivation. It requires aligning your expenditures with what genuinely matters to you, employing money as a tool rather than allowing it to employ you. When sadness, boredom, or status-seeking drives your buying decisions, money is using you. When purchases genuinely enhance your existence or expand your capacity to benefit others, you're using money. The Stoics practiced something they called preferred indifference, things generally worth having yet ultimately incapable of determining your worth or happiness. Money fits squarely in this category. Having it beats not having it, but it must never become your ruler. Consider your most recent impulse purchase, that item probably sitting unused somewhere in your home right now. In that moment of acquisition, what were you truly attempting to purchase? The object itself? Or were you chasing a feeling, status, comfort, excitement, belonging? Here's a practice capable of completely transforming your relationship with money. Before any non-essential purchase, stop and inquire, what am I genuinely attempting to buy here? If the answer points toward a feeling or experience, first explore whether you can access that feeling without spending money. Frequently you'll discover the purchase itself proves unnecessary. Authentic money mastery, however, extends beyond expenditure control. It encompasses value creation. The Stoics emphasized contributing to collective well-being. When you concentrate on serving others through your work, money naturally emerges as a secondary outcome rather than your primary objective. This perspective shift fundamentally transforms both earning and spending. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When morning comes and you rise reluctantly, let this thought be present, I am rising to do the work of being human." Viewing your work as service rather than mere income generation naturally elevates the excellence you bring to it, which inevitably attracts greater financial return. Here's what revolutionized my own financial existence. I began tracking not merely where my money went, but how each purchase left me feeling. I established 3 columns: item bought, reason for buying, resulting feeling. What I uncovered astonished me. Purchases yielding lasting satisfaction consistently aligned with my values, books expanding my understanding, shared experiences with loved ones, tools enhancing my ability to serve others. Impulse buys, status-driven acquisitions, emotionally motivated spending, these reliably left me feeling hollow or regretful. This straightforward practice provided spending clarity that no budgeting application ever could. Money mastery also means grasping the distinction between assets and liabilities. Every dollar you spend should either preserve your capacity to generate more or increase your ability to serve others. Adopting this mindset naturally steers you toward wealth accumulation rather than mere consumption. Remember always, hoarding money isn't the objective. Having sufficient freedom to be generous, to accept calculated risks, and to make decisions guided by principle rather than affordability, that's the goal. Now number 4, mastering your mind, the central command. Picture your mind as cultivated ground. Every thought you permit to remain represents a seed you're planting. The essential question becomes, what harvest do you wish to gather? Right now, as these words reach you, countless thoughts compete for your attention. Anxieties about tomorrow, regrets anchored in yesterday, judgments about this very message, plans for later today. Most humans drift through existence as passive spectators of this mental chaos, never recognizing they possess the power to select which thoughts merit their energy. Epictetus instructed his followers that genuine wealth doesn't consist of ample possessions but of minimal wants. Yet his meaning extended beyond material wealth to encompass mental riches. When you cease entertaining every thought that knocks at consciousness's door, you become extraordinarily wealthy in peace and focused attention. Consider this: you'd never permit strangers to enter your home and rearrange your furniture. Yet you routinely allow random thoughts to invade your mind and completely rearrange your emotional landscape. A solitary negative thought, given permission to remain, can derail your entire day. The Stoics developed a practice they called prosoke, unceasing attention to the present moment combined with vigilant thought monitoring. It differs from meditation as commonly understood today. Think of it instead as serving as security guard for your own consciousness, determining which thoughts gain entry and which get turned away. Here's a practice that can immediately transform your experience. For the coming week, whenever you notice yourself caught in negative thought spirals, stop and ask, is this thought helping me or harming me? Is it moving me toward the person I want to become or away from that vision? If it fails to serve you, consciously select a replacement thought that does. Again, mind mastery doesn't demand toxic positivity or pretending difficulties away. It means choosing productive thoughts over destructive ones. Rather than thinking, "This is awful and nothing can be done," you think, "This presents challenges and I need to discover the best path forward." Identical situation, radically different mental experience. Marcus Aurelius recorded in his journal, "Everything changes. Our life becomes whatever our thoughts make it." He understood that while he couldn't control Rome's enemies, political machinations, or even his own mortality, his mental kingdom remained absolutely sovereign. Your mind continuously constructs narratives about what things signify. Someone fails to smile, your mind manufactures rejection. Traffic slows, your mind creates lateness and cascading catastrophe. Your boss requests a meeting, your mind imagines trouble. Yet here's your power, you can rewrite these stories in real time. That unsmiling person might be wrestling their own burdens. Heavy traffic offers opportunity for patience or educational listening. Your boss's summons could bring welcome news. The ancient Stoics maintained a concept called the discipline of judgment, the practice of separating raw facts from the narratives we weave around them. Fact: rain is falling. Story: this rain is destroying my day. Master this distinction and you become extraordinarily powerful, because your emotional state ceases being controlled by external circumstances. Try this immediately. Think of something currently stressing you. Now separate actual facts from the story you're telling about those facts. You'll likely discover that most of your stress originates from the story, not the facts. Your mind also demonstrates remarkable problem-solving capacity when properly directed. Instead of letting it race wildly with worry, assign it specific challenges to address. Rather than, "What if everything goes wrong?" ask, "What's the most effective way to handle this situation?" Your mind craves challenges but requires clear direction from you. Remember always, each thought you think either constructs the person you're becoming or dismantles that person. You are literally thinking yourself into existence with every passing moment. Comment below, "I claim my power as the architect of my own mind." Number 5 explores the ripple effect, how mastery transforms everything. Something beautiful emerges when you begin mastering these 4 domains. They don't transform in isolation. They generate expanding ripples that completely reshape your entire life experience. Imagine tuning a musical instrument, bringing one string to perfect pitch enhances how all the others resonate as well. When you master your speech, people start seeking your perspective because your words carry genuine weight and wisdom. When you master your mood, you become the calm anchor others naturally gravitate toward during turbulent times. When you master your money, you gain freedom to make choices guided by values rather than mere survival. When you master your mind, you perceive opportunities where others see only obstacles. Yet the authentic magic inhabits the spaces between these 4 foundations. Let me share Sarah's story, a single mother attending one of my workshops last year. She arrived feeling utterly overwhelmed, drowning in debt, constantly snapping at her children, paralyzed with worry about tomorrow, trapped in negative thinking patterns that stole her sleep. 6 months afterward, Sarah sent me a message that moved me to tears. Applying these principles, she'd eliminated her credit card debt and launched a small side business. Her relationship with her children had fundamentally transformed because she'd learned to speak from love rather than frustration. Most significantly, she reported finally feeling like herself again, calm, confident, in command. The wonderful thing about Stoic wisdom is how it generates what psychologists term an upward spiral. Each small victory in one area builds confidence for tackling challenges elsewhere. Successfully controlling your words during heated exchange proves to yourself that emotional control is equally possible. Resisting an impulse purchase strengthens the identical mental muscle that helps you resist negative thoughts. Aristotle observed, "We become what we repeatedly do." Excellence, therefore, isn't a single act but an enduring habit. The Stoics extended this understanding, recognizing that mastery across these 4 domains produces a compound effect. Each day of practice doesn't merely improve that day, it makes every subsequent day easier. Reflect on the person you were 6 months ago. What struggles occupied you then? Now envision who you could become 6 months from today by consistently applying these principles. The distance between who you are and who you might become isn't nearly as vast as you imagine, it's merely a sequence of small daily decisions. Here's what I need you to understand. You needn't achieve perfection across all 4 areas simultaneously. Attempting that often generates frustration and abandonment. Instead, select the single area that most resonates with you right now and concentrate there for the next 30 days. Allow mastery in that domain to naturally influence the others. The Stoics embraced something called sympathia, the interconnectedness permeating everything. Your inner work doesn't benefit only you, it radiates benefit to everyone surrounding you. Greater speech control reduces conflict in your relationships. Improved emotion management creates more peaceful environments for your family. Wise money handling models financial responsibility for your children. Constructive thought direction makes you a source of solutions rather than problems. Perhaps the deepest ripple effect involves how mastery transforms your relationship with difficulty itself. Rather than viewing challenges as things happening to you, you begin seeing them as opportunities to exercise your mastery. Every difficult conversation becomes mouth control practice. Every stressful situation becomes mood mastery opportunity. Every financial decision becomes money wisdom practice. Every worry becomes chance to redirect mental energy. This fundamental shift from victim perspective to practitioner perspective revolutionizes how you experience existence. Comment below if you're ready to transform every challenge into strengthening. Each challenge represents my chance to grow stronger. Our journey opened with Epictetus, a man who evolved from physical slave to spiritual teacher. His secret wasn't changing external circumstances. It was mastering himself within whatever circumstances arose. Today you face the identical choice he confronted over 2,000 years ago. You now understand that authentic freedom doesn't mean unlimited options, it means consistently selecting wisely among available choices. You've learned that your speech, mood, finances, and thinking aren't separate life compartments, they're interconnected pillars either supporting your growth or undermining it. Here's what I most want you to carry forward: this journey doesn't demand perfection. It requires intentionality. Every pause before speaking constitutes mouth mastery practice. Every conscious response to challenging emotion represents mood mastery development. Every spending decision aligned with your values builds money wisdom. Every redirected negative thought strengthens your mental sovereignty. The ancient Stoics confronted wars, plagues, political turmoil, personal tragedy. Their lives weren't easy, but they possessed something more valuable: unshakable inner strength born from mastering these 4 fundamental territories. That identical strength now awaits you. Your transformation begins with one decision. The decision to assume responsibility for your inner world. Not because life treats everyone fairly, it doesn't. Not because the path offers ease, it won't. But because you deserve to live as master of your own experience rather than victim of circumstance. 6 months from now, 2 possibilities await. You'll remain the same person wrestling the same struggles. Or you'll have become someone who's learned to navigate existence with wisdom, purpose, and internal fortitude. The choice rests entirely with you, and the moment to make it stands before you right now. Recall Epictetus's words: nobody can harm you without your permission. Today marks the day you withdraw that permission. Today you commence the journey from reaction to response, from chaos to command, from bondage to freedom. The 4 pillars of mastery await your engagement. Your future self depends on you. And somewhere in the eternal realm of ideas, the ancient Stoics cheer your progress. Take that first step. Start today. Start now. If this message stirred something within you, smash that like button without hesitation. Share this with someone needing to hear it. Record your commitment in comments below. And subscribe for additional life-transforming wisdom. Your mastery journey launches at this very moment. Drop this final affirmation in the comments: today I select mastery over mediocrity, intention over reaction, and freedom over slavery to circumstance.